Hello everyone and welcome to the penultimate, that means second to last, video on the PSA for your senior exit project. This is also, I guess, the second to last video you're going to have this year. So if you're watching this, my guess is that you are at the point where your video is finished or very close to being finished, and you are aware that you need to send that video to a target audience and get some feedback from them. Remember, a large part of the senior exit project was being able to get that message out to who you wanted to hear it and see what they have to say. So that's what this stage is meant to replicate. All right, here we go. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a copy of a Google form that I have created. Now, you can just send the Google form and obviously your video to your target audience. You can also, mess with it, add questions, things of that sort. But what this Google form includes are the questions that we want to ask. If you want to go the route of not using a Google form, that's fine, but you still have to ask these essential questions. So when you click this link, and this is on the PSA Guidelines Google Slides, it's also in the PSA Guidelines Google Doc. There's also a link to it in Schoology in the PSA folder for Step 4. So this is going to force a copy, and we're going to make a copy. And this is also, you can also access this in, I'm in PSA Phase 4 folder of Schoology here if you're looking for it. Exit Project. Phase 3, PSA, Step 4, show to the target audience, okay? Click to make a copy of the Google form. For whatever reason, Schoology makes you click twice, but this is going to do the exact same thing. Anyway, here is this. So where it says copy of your topic, we need to replace this information with your information. So again, mine for example purposes is year-round school, and I'm going to put in my name. But this is now, once you've made a copy, this is your form. So you're going to put in your information there. The next thing you want to do is look at what it says right below this. It says replace the title with Google form, which we just did. Then type a description of your project in this box. Do not send the form without changing this information. It will appear very unprofessional. This is true. I cannot say this enough. If you just send it with this, what is your audience going to see? They're going to see a form that says type a description of your project, and they're going to see that you copied and pasted the form. You want this to make it look like you made this form. And like I said, you can make your own form. You can add all sorts of, you can change the theme. You can choose a header to make it look all nice, whatever it is. Okay, you can do all that fun stuff. You can change the theme colors. I don't care. Ooh, that's a spider. I don't like that. That's fine. You can change all that stuff. But the questions should remain relatively the same. Okay, don't change this stuff. This is where you want them to enter their name and their email address. So don't put your name here. This is for your audience. And then here are the questions. Okay, the purpose and effectiveness of the PSA. And don't change any of this stuff. The following questions will ask you to evaluate the intended purpose. What do you feel was the purpose? Why are we asking this? Well, we want them to be able to identify without you telling them what the purpose was. And don't worry if they don't get it, okay? Because you're just getting feedback. So if you get feedback and they say something like, well, it seems like they wanted me to recycle, and you're like, no, I wanted you to litter all over the place. Well, when you do your feedback, then you should say something along the lines of, yeah, my intended audience actually kind of misinterpreted what I was trying to say here. On a scale of 1 to 5, how effective was it? A couple optional questions if they want to give additional feedback, what contributed to it, what distracted from the message, what could be improved. This is not optional. We want to ask them what could be improved. How reliable is the information? Remember, you should be including a mix of ethos, logos, and pathos where you're giving them that emotional appeal and that kind of logic where you're explaining things to them. But you also want to give them ethics and some sort of authority on how they can trust this information, which is really what this question is asking. Which of the following is true? It needs more of one of these three, or it's a good mix. And then the overall quality, because you do want this to be a creative, polished product. All right, and then you want them to explain why they gave you the rating that they did. Okay, the last box here asks if they have any additional comments, and then they submit. You can always preview your survey by clicking that little eye, and then it will walk you through, and you can kind of see what it would look like, that sort of thing. Okay. Now, let's say you say, Mr. Meadows, these are fine questions, but I also want to ask them something specific about my PSA. I want to ask them about this particular scene, or I want to ask them about the music, or I want to ask them if they understood a part. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Okay. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can, if it relates to purpose, then you just go to the purpose section, click a question, and you click Add Question. And then you type your question here, and you can make it multiple choice. You can make it check boxes where you give them a bunch of options and they check all that apply. It can be a drop-down menu where they've got, a list to choose from. You can ask them a short answer or a paragraph where they have to type something, so on and so forth. Okay? If you ever need to delete a question, just click delete. Obviously, if it relates to reliability and quality, you can pop it in there. What if it doesn't relate to either of those? Well, then you want to create a new section. So I'm going to go to the end of the reliability section. I'm going to click this little button here that says Add Section. And now I'm going to name this section. I'm just going to call it for this video Miscellaneous Questions. You can provide a description or not. Kind of doesn't matter. And then same thing here. Then you start adding in your questions. All right, that's pretty much it. When you share this form with people, you need to share the link with them. And you can't just copy and paste this, because if you copy and paste this, what are they going to get? They're going to get this form that we're filling out right now. You want to give them a form that they have to fill out. You want to give them the link that looks like this. All right, and so to do that, you're going to click Send up here in the upper right-hand corner. And look, you can send via email. You can get a link and just copy and paste the link. All right. You can embed it on a website. I doubt many of you are going to do that. You can share it on Facebook. You can share it on Twitter, and so on and so forth. Okay. You can email it to them directly. I definitely would reach out to people before you just email them. In fact, that's what kind of the rest of this presentation is about. So, covered that. Feel free to add any questions to your Google form, the copy of it. And then you share it. Of course, you also want to share your video with them. And you got to share it with target audience members. And you're going to ask them to watch the video and to give feedback using the form. Okay. Again, if you don't use the form, make sure you're still getting feedback on those specific questions, because you're going to turn in your answers to those questions to me. So you might be wondering, all right, that's great. I get it. But how the heck do I get in touch with my target audience? Well, this might be easy for you. You might already know who, or you might have already reached out to them. For instance, I know a couple of groups actually want to change the way the school functions, whether it's later start times or it is the way teachers are evaluated, so on and so forth. And early on, you reached out to our superintendent or other people in administration at Olentangy, and you maybe interviewed them. Well, they're already your target audience. Feel free to continue using them as a source for this. If you're not sure, maybe you're trying to reach, I don't know, firefighters, start asking family members, friends, parents of friends, obviously your teachers, right? People who have been around walking this planet for a long time have lots of connections, okay? I know a couple of firefighters. I don't think anybody would actually need that, but that's just an example, right? And we can get you those email addresses. And of course, don't just blindly send them a video and a survey like, hey, can you fill this out? Reach out to them. You can include the video and the survey in an email if you're reaching out to them, but set it up. Don't just send them the video and the survey and hope that they figure it out. Now, you could also make a social media post. Now, I want to caution against this a little bit, because you don't want to just put this blindly out there for anyone to complete. Why? Well, if I put something out on Twitter and I say, hey, calling all teachers, I want your feedback on year-round school. Can you fill out this survey for me? Who am I going to get filling out that survey? Teachers, yes. But what about parents? What about students? And that's fine. I definitely care about what they have to say about year-round school, but what if I don't want them for this survey? How am I going to screen that? I can't, really. Okay? So if you're going to make a social media post, have them reach out to you. Hey, I'm looking for people to participate in the survey. I need firefighters. If you're a firefighter or you know one, have them contact me, and I will give you a link to the video in the survey. So you at least get a little bit of the screening process. Now, I know you're also going to collect emails, so that helps. But you have to keep track of everyone that you're getting feedback from. That's very important. What you do not want to do is send out a mass email. Okay, we should not be getting Olentangy district-wide emails about your project, right? Corporations, hospitals, all that stuff. Yeah, they might be relevant. They might have people in your target audience, but you can't just blanket them with this email saying, hey, for anyone who's interested, I'm hoping that you would fill this out. It's just not okay to do that. And once again, you cannot screen what type of feedback that you're getting. So if you want to go that route, you're going to have to reach out to individuals at the workplace. And it's fine if you find their email on like a website or something like that. But you can't just email everyone who works there. You got to target people who work there, tell them what you're doing, and then see if they're willing to participate. And you can even ask them, hey, since you're willing to do this, would you be willing to share it with your coworkers? And then you might get a bunch of feedback, which would be awesome. You don't want to just blast your information on social media. So you don't want to just put the video in Google Form on Facebook and hope that people respond. Again, you're going to get anonymous reporting if that happens. Yeah, you'll get their emails, but you don't know who these people are. So you got to keep your video private, keep your Google Form private. Okay, when I say private, I actually need to show you that in a second, because you don't want your video to be completely private. Obviously, people need to see it. Okay, so real quick, let me jump out of this PowerPoint and show you something here. So let's say I've put the video in my Google Drive. And by the way, guys, that is honestly, I think, maybe the easiest way to do this. So I've got some videos in here. Here we go, PSA guideline video lesson. If you right click on it, you're going to see share or get shareable link. Now, when you pull this up, mine says public on the web. Yours probably won't. Yours probably will say anyone at Olentangy local schools. So then you got to click advance, and you want a screen that looks like this, and you want to change this, right? I'm going to click more. So you have various options here. You probably want to make it anyone with the link. I made mine public on the web just because it makes it super easy so that I have zero issues with people accessing it. But like I said, you probably want yours anyone with the link. The default is anyone at Olentangy schools with the link, which is going to be a problem because you're probably not sending it to people at Olentangy. So anyone with the link, and then you click get shareable link, or you just click this link and click copy, and you've got your link that you can send to people. Some other alternatives, well, if you did Adobe Spark, I believe Adobe Spark has a built-in sharing feature. You can upload it to YouTube. You can upload it to whatever you want. I don't think Instagram or anything like that is going to take a video of this length. Well, they're only a minute, so actually maybe it would work. Doesn't matter. Okay, however you put the video on the internet is fine. What I don't want to see, though, is non-private videos. You should not make this available to everyone. There are privacy policies in place for your safety and privacy. Please keep this only in your trusted target audience. And if you have questions on how to get that out and do it right, just contact me. I'll help you. Okay? Because with each person, it's a little bit different. That's why there's not a specific lesson on it. So the goal with your feedback is that you're getting real feedback, relevant feedback. It's real, it's meaningful, it's coming from trusted sources, and you can actually figure out what do people think of your PSA. The very people you're trying to reach, what do they think about it? So you have to keep track of who's responding. Don't just get any feedback from anyone, but do try to get as much feedback as possible. Okay, if you only get feedback from one or two people, I mean, everyone's biased, right? Everyone's got their own opinions. So you might get terrible feedback from someone, and then the next 5 people are like, this was amazing, and here's what I love about it. And that, what can you do with that? Well, you can say, well, what can I learn from the person who criticized me? Okay, I'm going to take that. But also, what did I do well? Look at all these other people saying here are the things that I did well. So that's what you want to do with that. Okay? Okay? So, like I said, there's only one more video lesson, and it's really just how to turn it in. I'm going to fast forward real quick and just show you something. you're going to share all this with me, so make sure you keep tracking it. And then if you're ready, what you're going to do with that feedback is you're going to type this 100 to 300 word response, which, by the way, is actually very short, explaining the target audience you showed it to, the feedback that you received, and what you would do differently if you were to revise and reshoot your PSA. And you'll turn that in via Schoology, and then you'll be done. But that's it in a nutshell. So good luck. Finish your videos, obviously, first and foremost. And let me know if you need help with any stage of this process, and I'll be happy to. We're almost there, guys. You can do it. Home stretch, PSA, senior exit project. You got this. Meadows out, claws up.